Hello, my crafty friends. Today I am joining in on the Fun Time Friday Challenge. This is hosted by Broke Girl Aesthetics and co-host Junkernecker. More on that later in the video. For now, let's start crafting. So today we're going to make a bee skeet, and these are the materials you're going to need. You'll need some clay pots, because that's what I'm making mine out of, some florals, some jute twine, some paint, and some glue. I'm using little pom-poms to make my bees. You'll see how I do that later on in the video. So first what we need to do is we are going to take those two pots and glue them together. I use E6000 for that long-term hold, and I also use my glue gun so it could be an immediate hold so I can continue working. I just put the E6000 around that edge, some hot glue in the spots where there's no E6000, and adhere it to the top of the other clay pot. I also then take my glue and I glue all around that edge to give it a little extra more strength in there, and so it holds on better. I'm not worried about all the glue seeping out because, well, we'll be covering that up. Next, taking my jute twine, I start on the bottom of the bigger clay pot with some hot glue. I glue it into place, and I just continue wrapping and wrapping and gluing and wrapping that twine all the way up. Glue and wrap, glue and wrap, glue and wrap. When I get to the edge there, I just slightly go up, put a little extra glue, and continue wrapping around. If you are new to my channel, I'd like to say welcome, and thank you for joining us. We are so happy to have you here. We hope that you enjoy the content and that you decide to subscribe to my channel. Please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that notification bell. There you see, I've wrapped up all the way to the top, and now I'm going to show you how I did the very, very top. So what I did is I would add glue to the bottom of that little pot on the top, plus to the twine itself, so that it would glue to both areas. And I just keep on going around and around and around until I get to the middle, cut off the end, and squeeze it into the middle there. I think at some points I got more glue on my fingers than I did on the craft project. And there it is, all wrapped up. Next, what I did is I took my lighter, and all those little extra fuzzy pieces that were sticking off, I just burned all those off, and it gave it a nice hue on the rope itself. Little burnt areas here and there, toasted areas. Looked really, really nice. So next we're going to make the opening of the skeet. I just take some extra jute rope and I glue it into the circle right in the middle of the skeet. It's a fairly easy thing to do. You're just gluing on jute rope on top of jute twine in a circle. Cut off that end and then make sure the two ends are nicely glued down. Next, what I do is I'm going to paint the inside of that opening, that circle that we just did, and I'm going to paint 4 of those small little tiny pom-poms black. The little tiny pom-poms are going to be used for eyes on my little bees that I'm going to be making. These were super hard to paint. I think I got more black paint on my nails than I did on the pom-poms because they're so tiny. I had to like pinch them with my nails. But I finally got them painted and it dried quick, but I think I got more black paint on my nails than I did on those. I then try using a Sharpie marker to draw lines across on the two yellow bigger pom-poms, but realized it wasn't working out as well, so I also used the black paint on those to represent the lines on the bees. My black nails. There I am trying with the Sharpie, and then as I'm coloring it in, I'm realizing that it's not working out very good. It's not very deep in the color. So here's some paint. It worked on those other pom-poms, so why wouldn't it work on this one? Set all that stuff, all those aside to dry. Now I'm taking this cardboard and I'm just cutting off little tiny triangles, and the way I did it is I just cut off the corners of this cardboard to make little triangles. And then I'm going to take my white paint and paint those white. Those are going to be the bees' little wings. A question for all of my subscribers. I am thinking on posting on other days and splitting up my crafts. So for instance, I'm doing this craft here, it would stay on Thursdays, but say I do a wood craft, I could post on either Tuesdays or Wednesdays, or Trash to Treasure, I could post on another day. Let me know what you guys think, and if that is something that you agree that I should do. I'd like to know. Leave a comment in the comments area if you think it's a good idea. So here what I'm doing is I'm painting the inside as far down as I can go all black, because I didn't want that clay color to show through, and this way if someone was to pick it up, it's all done on the inside. Now it's time to put my bees together. I put a little bit of hot glue, and those pom-poms that I painted black, I just stick those on the front for his little eyeballs. And then I glue those little white wings on the back. And again, I use the hot glue. They were all sticking to the board and they were hard to pick up because they're so small. And there's my little bee. I do the exact same thing to the other one. Now it's time to add on some florals. I'm using these little white and purple flowers. I don't remember what they were called. The little tag was missing. But I just cut off the little nubbin at the end, add some hot glue, and glue them into place. And then I have some green leaves that are sitting there. I cut all those apart and I just add in some greenery all around the flowers, just to give it a little extra something in there. You always need some leaves with flowers. I've seen a lot of people making these bee skeeps, and they use sunflowers, which are really, really pretty. But I thought I'd like to try something different. And not only that, I had no sunflowers, so I'm using up what I have in my stash. Right now we can't go out anywhere, so I can't go buy extra florals. So I'm just trying to use up what I have. And there I am, adding in the greenery onto the sides and positioning them where I want. putting in a little bit of hot glue and gluing it all down. Next, what I do is I add on my bees. I decide to stick one right there by the opening, and then I stick one a little further up by the flowers. I think the bees are really cute. And there you have it, a bee skeep made from clay pots. This is my version. There are many, many other versions out there, and I love every single one of the other versions, but I wanted to try my hand in making one. And there you have it, set up on my counter. I really enjoyed making it. I think the longest part was adding on that twine, because wrapping and gluing and wrapping and gluing. I think that was the longest part to do for this craft, but other than that, it was a fairly easy project to make. Welcome to Lammis Creations DIY. My name is Tammy. When I seen this challenge, I thought this could be fun. The challenge is hosted by Broke Girl Aesthetics, and her co-host is Junkernecker. I will have both of these ladies' channels down in the description box, as well as the playlist. All you have to do is click on that playlist, and it will give you all of the wonderful Creative Crafters videos. Let them know that you came from Lammas. If you're coming over from another channel, welcome. I am so happy to have you here. If you like what you see, please click that subscription button, and don't forget to like this video and turn the notification bell on. Now on to the next craft. Hello sunshine, hello summer. So for this craft, I decided I wanted to make a sign that brought on the meaning of summer and just felt like summer and warmth. So what I did is I took this piece of wood frame. It's like a canvas frame from Dollarama. I took some brown paint and some white paint, mixed them together to make a lighter color of brown, and then I took some water and mixed that in as well. This way it's going to give me somewhat of a stain. I then took a nice clean rag. It's actually part of a shirt, I believe. And I put this stain all over the front, the back, and all the sides. I made sure to do the back, so this way if anybody picks it up and looks at it, it's all nice and finished at the back. Looks a lot better that way. Next, what I did is I took my ruler and I marked off at the 6-inch, the 12-inch, the 18-inch, and the 24-inch. I did this in separate little areas all the way down the canvas. Then, taking my ruler, I drew straight lines connecting them all, this way to try and make it look like shiplap. Now, taking my black and my white, I mixed them together to make a gray. I didn't have any gray paint, all I had was silver, so I figured the best way to make gray is to make your own. After mixing all the gray to the color I wanted, I then took a nice thin, fine paintbrush and I went over those lines that I did in pencil. Some of them I got a little sloppy on, and some of them are a little bit bigger, but in the end, I really like how it turned out. Then, taking my rag, I just smushed the paint in along that line just to give it a little more definition, and this is where it ends up looking a little sloppier and thicker. So now I take another brush, and I'm going to dry brush the gray all along the edges and all along the front of my picture. Giving this a little more of a distressed look. After that was done and dried, I took some sandpaper and I sanded them all in just so they can all be combined into one. Taking a rag and dusting all the sand off. I got these vinyl letters at Walmart. They're removable vinyl letters, and I thought these would be perfect for this craft that I'm trying to do. So I take my letters and I spell out the word hello, and then I spell out the word sunshine at the bottom. You know, originally I wanted to do hello summer, but for some reason, beyond me, I put in sunshine. But I guess all things happen for a reason, because in the end, I love it. So now taking this is the green parts to fake flowers that you can get. I always keep everything. I take them and I cut them down and I place them on my board. And then I glue each of the green sticks down. After that, I take these sunflowers. They're almost like a wallpaper sunflower, like it's got wallpaper paste on the back. Really cool. I can't remember where I found them. I've had them for a long time. I take 3 little pieces of wood and I stain them all the same color as I stained the original wood. And then, taking my glue gun, I glue the little piece of wood to the back of the flower, and then I glue that wood and flower down to my project. This way it helps the flower to stick out and raise it a bit, and so it wouldn't look so weird sitting on top of those green sticks. I do that to all 3 pieces. Now I have these paper flowers. I've had them for a really long time. I used to do card making, and that's where I would use them in. So I went through them and picked out the colors I wanted. Some I glued together and some I left alone. And then I had these little embellishments of butterflies and flowers. So I took a butterfly and I would glue one into one, and then I took a flower and I glued it into another one. And I have another little butterfly you'll see in a minute, and I glued that one into another one as well. That little butterfly there, like a little tag for cards. I just took the little butterfly off and put them on the flower. Now I'm placing out my flowers to see where I would like to have them. I always like to arrange things before I glue, because you never know what you might change your mind. Then I thought I have these other little green sprigs that came from flowers as well. And I thought that would look pretty awesome there down at the bottom. So I took my glue gun and I glued those down as well. And then I took another one of those paper flowers and I glued that right in the middle. Now I'm gluing all my flowers around, now that I like where I've got them placed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Mod Podge and I'm going to seal in my letters, the sunshine and the hello. This way, because they're a removable vinyl, I wasn't sure if they would fall off or, dry out and fall off. So I thought if I cover them in Mod Podge, it'll seal them in and protect them, and they'll stay forever. So I'm sitting here looking at it and I'm thinking it needs something else. It needs something to hide the stems of those flowers. So this is where the jute twine comes in. I take the jute twine, I wrap it around 3 fingers about 8 or 9 times, cut it off. Then I cut off another little piece. I wrap it, push it down in between my fingers, and I wrap it in the middle of the 2 loops. And I tie it in a double knot at the back. Then I trim off the ends so you don't see those. Fluffing up my bow, spreading out all those petals. I then glue it to the bottom of where all those sticks meet. I trim the tails. and it's done. I really like it. I had a lot of fun making this one. Just things coming into your mind and just going with the flow type of thing, type of craft. And here it is hung up in my house. It's actually hanging over top of my son's bunny cage. So he has a nice little hello sunshine. I hope you enjoyed the crafts I made today. I certainly had fun making them. You can follow me on Instagram at Tammy Breault. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you again on Thursday. Bye.